faces fade to black as they move from the light. Am I even real, even real? Everywhere I look, I'm starting to feel time is eating me alive, me alive. Drowning in my life. Who am I? Time is eating me My feet glued to the floor, I'm not moving anywhere. Locked inside of a crowd that couldn't care less. Everything was moving so fast. Everywhere I look, I'm starting to feel time is eating me alive, me alive. Drowning in my life. Who am I? Time is eating me. Time moves on and on. Can I stomach it? Can I stomach it? Where did I go wrong? My fear builds an appetite, but time is eating me alive, me alive. Drowning in my life. Who am I? Time is eating me Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you? for your storm to settle. As I look toward the sea, dust in your eyes like the water. As the tide, it consumes me. You would never save me if my walls came down. Head is underwater, you would let me drown. Watching as I suffocate. Darling, pull the trigger, honey, steal my crown. Choke me till I black out, put your hands around. Knocked out my heart, I'm guilty. She said, worship me, worship me. I control the air you breathe. Worship me. My forgiveness sets you free. Worship me. I control the air you breathe. Worship me. My forgiveness sets you free.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to, oh man, now an annual Valhallan live stream, Valhallan Campbell live stream, I guess I should say. To start off, I'm joined by my good friend and co-coach, Coach Kyle.
Hey man, how you doing?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. You know, it's another day, another Monday. It needs more drops, which I'm really excited for.
Absolutely.
Guys are locked in. We had a really big conversation about the things that they're doing really well and the things that they need some improvement on. But overall, it's been really cool. It's a kind of a cool, fun, full circle moment for me as a coach because it's been about a year now, and there's been a lot of growth in about a year.
Absolutely. So. It's crazy that we're creeping up to that year mark for me, at least.
It's weird. No, it's weird. It's weird. I still remember answering the job ad and being like, man, I could coach esports. That'd be kind of fun. And then I get an email like 2 days later. Hey, come on in, interview for a Fortnite coach position. I was like, all right, you got it. So now I'm here.
So talking about, obviously, you being the Fortnite coach, talk to me a little bit about what we're hoping and expecting to see tonight from, let's start with Brady and Allie.
So for Brady and Allie, the number one thing that I'm working on for them is just I want them to have they've got all the individual fundamental pieces that go into being a great team, right? They've got individual skill. They've got a great understanding of macro awareness and strategy, how to rotate, where to go. They've got a really great understanding of what makes this season tick. I just am waiting for them to put it all together. Mm-hmm. Like all the ingredients are perfect, right? We've got everything laid out exactly the way that it needs to be for total success. And now it's just a matter of those two putting it all together and sort of making it happen. So I'm very excited. I know Atlee and I talked pre-practice about his thoughts this season, and I know it's not his favorite. He likes the faster-paced gameplay of last season, but he and Brady work so well together.
Yeah.
And Brady has been really, really great this season because this is the kind of season that you have a really strong fundamental understanding of the game itself, you're going to excel, and Brady really does. So I'm just excited to watch the two of them sort of put it all together tonight. That for me is going to be the thing that I'm looking for as their coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course, I love watching. Yeah, we love watching them play. Always, I kind of expect great things from them.
Yes,
see it every night. You know, obviously depends on the drops and all that stuff. But yeah, we definitely hold them. I feel like
we hold them accountable to the level of their experience that they have shown us. So
all right, so now probably you gotta talk to me a little bit about I think probably the most winning on stream, at least on recording, Chef Jack and Miko. What are we hoping from them tonight? I mean, of course, another W.
Yeah, another W, obviously, is what I'm hoping. But in terms of, like, as a coach, what am I looking for? What am I expecting? What I hope will happen to watch them grow? The biggest thing for Jack is I need him to rein in that killer instinct just a little bit, right? Jack's kind of like a dog on a bone when he like realizes, oh, I can get a kill, I can thirst it, I can take it. He does, and it's amazing to watch. But I think because he's in the IGL spot, the one thing I want him to work on is sort of maybe reining that in, pulling it back just a little bit. For Sean, it's reversed. I want him to start taking charge a little bit more, being a little bit more aggressive, being a little bit more confident, being a little more dominant in the position that he's in. I think that's a really huge deal as well.
Perfect. And now finally, we'll talk about our third team here. Lachlan and Parker, I know a team that you've worked a lot with,
yes,
given a lot of attention to. So explain to me what you're really hoping to see them finally lock in. And
I mean, arguably, this is a team that I think has probably come the furthest out of everybody here in the arena, because the two of them individually, I know, have been working past or working towards certain goals, and to like watch them really like grow and become and change into the players that they've wanted to be since they came here has been huge. The one thing I'm working for them is confidence, confidence, confidence. Parker is a phenomenal IGL. Like arguably one of the best, not just in Division 2 for us, but in any of our divisions for Fortnite, period, right? Because what happens is, and I don't know if this is the same for Rocket League, I imagine it's not, because the action is constant, but when you get eliminated, sometimes it's really hard for you to remain present in the game, and Parker is so there and so present and so immediate. He is one of those IGLs that like the second he's dead, it doesn't matter if they've got his reboot card or not, he pulls up the map, he starts thinking about where to rotate to, he starts looking, he's still paying attention to the visual and the audio cues to make sure he's communicating with his team. He's monitoring their builds, their ammo, it's awesome, because it's almost like having like, he literally is like an Iron Man suit for his team. It's really, really cool to watch. And Lachlan for the same thing too, watching him sort of like lock in and really become a more technical player, a more aggressive player. The one thing that I really want for the both of them is their confidence to go up. And again, it's one of those things, I know you know this from experience as somebody who's competed, on a very high level. That confidence comes with time and it comes with practice. So.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time up here. I'll let you get back and get locked in. We'll hopefully hear from you later. Hopefully after some good results.
I hope that you do. I hope that you hear from me after a couple wins. So I'm very excited. Thank you, Coach Christian. I appreciate
Thank you, Coach Kyle. Alrighty. So everybody, I've just been unfortunately informed that we are going to have a little bit of a delay on Division 1. Looks like maybe 5 minutes, so that's all right. That means you just get to hang out and talk with me for 5 minutes. Anyway, so I'm going to introduce my teams a while. The teams that, of course, we will be watching. As many of you probably saw in the email, we are watching, for Fortnite, we'll be watching 3 teams every week. Will we guarantee we watch all 3 of those teams? No, but we will do our best to watch those teams as often as we can. So, starting tonight as the primary team, we have the Division 1 team, the only Division 1 team, Brady and Atlee. Bacon and Toast is their team name, a.k.a. Brady, BL Mace, and Atlee, a.k.a. 4-Slot Toaster. We will be watching the majority of their game. As we said with Coach Kyle, we have a lot of expectations for that team being a Division 1 team. They are a team that can take it at any time. They can really come in and really sway and change the tone of their lobbies, right? If they're locked in, if they're working together and they are very aware of each other, they are a team that absolutely can take anything to the end and take these matches really as far and as well locked as they can to give themselves the best opportunity to win. Up next, our secondary team, we have the Big Mac Munchers. And actually, I think we're going to have Brady come up here for an interview real quick. So Brady, obviously just talking about you guys, tell me a little bit about what you're hoping tonight for specifically the first drop, but for both drops in general.
So I'm hoping that we can get some good rotations in early game, because they just added Ice Isle, which is just a little north of our POI. So there's going to be a lot more contesting around us. So if people push in after that, that's going to be a little complicated for us, because we haven't had that happen. So I'm hoping for that not to happen, but if it does, we're going to need some good loot and heals and mats off drop.
So with a teammate like Atlee, obviously you guys have that good trust and communication and everything. What do you guys need to do to really set the tone early on in the game that will help you guys transition into that mid and late game scenario?
So what we try to do is get ourselves around to have similar mats. So if one goes down, we'll both go down around the same time, so we can easily get out. and we want to have around the same heals. We want to have max heals, obviously, but we need, if we go out with like gray green guns, it's not going to be very good for us.
Perfect. And finally, as the IGL for your team, what are things that you are looking at that you're trying to be constantly aware of, especially when these seasons are changing, however many weeks, especially when we're mid-season, mid-VHEL season like we are right now?
So I look at a lot of updates. I play like the update day and play a lot, so I get to know what happens and what's changed. And then whenever we're in game, I look at like rotation, the zone where we have to go, and I predict some things like where it would most likely go.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for the, I know, kind of unexpected but appreciated pregame interview, and of course we'll be watching. So wishing you guys luck and hoping you guys get some W's and get some kills that I can freak out about up here.
Thanks for the luck.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Anyway, as I was saying before, the secondary team that we will be watching potentially is Chef Jack and Miko, aka Stinky and Cookie. Their team name being the Big Mac Munchers. As again we said with Coach Kyle, probably the most winning on stream or the most winning in recording that team that we have. While we've consistently, seen them get wins on live, on recording. And really quickly, we are going to go to an interview with Atlee before I introduce my third team here. So Atlee, talk to me a little bit about what you guys are hoping to see from the first drop, but both drops in general tonight.
Well, I'm hoping to see us play a little more aggressive tonight. Maybe pick up some more kills, like 3 to 5 kills each game, and just also focus placement at the same time, like top fives.
Mm-hmm. So we talked with your Coach Kyle, a little bit before the match, and this season not being one of your favorites. What are you going to do to help Brady the best that you can with your abilities and with his abilities?
Yeah, I'm just going to make sure I'm making good call-outs, calling out what I can during the game, and yeah, that's about it.
And when you guys are in competitive season like we are right now, and Fortnite releases a season update or big changes or anything like that, what are you looking for in those updates that will give you a little bit of that competitive edge over the other teams you're playing against?
I think the best thing is to make sure we're practicing like outside of here, and if we can practice together especially, that usually helps out. Perfect.
Well, I believe that is going to be it for us. Thank you so much for the I guess kind of surprise pregame interview, and of course we'll be watching. So we wish you guys best of luck, and hopefully you guys get some kills and some W's.
Thank you.
All right, and now lastly, I will introduce my third team, or the third team that we will potentially be watching. We have Parker and Lachlan, aka VH04 and VH03, which of course we will talk about if we get to watch them, and their team name being the Ravens. As again we said with Coach Kyle, them being a very growth team, a team that has grown a lot, and a team that has worked a lot. So I know Coach Kyle is super proud of them, especially of how far they've come, and since the beginning of this season. And it's really great to see them as a team really lock in and find their stride. All right, at this point, we should be waiting. Should be dropping in any second now for Division 1. Again, starting with Brady and Atlee, a.k.a. Bacon and Toast. I am, as I've said before, very excited to watch these guys. Even with my little lack of Fortnite knowledge, these guys do a great job at keeping the game simple, and that makes it easy for me. I just got an update there from Andrew, looking like we're at a 2-minute delay. So we'll be waiting a little bit, but no worries. Again, that means you guys will just get an extra 2 minutes with me. Yes, as I was saying, they do a great job at making the game simple, and these two together are really one of the great teams that is just so fun to watch. Even though I probably shouldn't, I do have some of the teams that I prefer to watch just because of my relationship with the students or their gameplay, and with this team it's a little bit of both. And Brady and Atlee are just so fun gameplay wise to watch. A lot of the time they're in the action, they're trying to find fights, they're so confident in their abilities that they're not afraid to take these engagements and push teams, and really kind of set the tone early on. And again, as we heard from Atlee there, expecting hopefully at least 3, if not 5 kills each drop. So really trying to set the tone, getting as many points as they can in the matches that they can, right? So obviously those 3 to 5 kills are all points, and then the placement points as well help them just climb in their division and hopefully help them sneak into playoffs. Unfortunately, I don't have any standings or anything, so I can't talk about that. But something really great that we will continuously improve on and get standings up here, so that way I can shout out standings and talk about what we're looking like when it comes to playoff picture and all that fun stuff. Speaking of playoffs, we are so close. I believe we have this week and maybe one more week. That sounds about right. I think we have 8 weeks of normal season. I think this is week 7, so very close to that playoff picture. Obviously, playoffs is when things start to get really excited around here, really hype around here. For this, obviously, we will be live streaming playoffs as much as we can, including every single game title that makes it to playoffs. So if every game has a team that makes it to playoffs, we will be live just like we are in the normal season. If we don't, then the schedule might change a little bit. And as we kind of take breaks for competitive, the schedule might change a little bit. Obviously, those are things that we're still trying to figure out and talk about. Looks like we could be dropping here any minute. Again, I know you guys can't see, but I see their lobby kind of populating. So anytime now, we should be good to go. And I'm currently in their comm. So one of the things that we like to do for Fortnite, and really I would like to bring it over to the other games, we just haven't talked about it enough yet, is we will be tuning into their comms and listening in a little bit here and there. Typically we do it when either Coach Kyle or Coach Jonathan is in there, just seeing what they're talking about, seeing how their minds are going. Typically I will stay a little quieter at that time, really, so they can just kind of focus in, lock in, and then hear, again, what they're saying. You guys can hear what they're saying, and then I will re-deafen, and then I'll kind of discuss if they used any terms or anything, especially more so of what we're looking for from how they're talking in those comms. Brady and Atlee, though, a really good team with comms, so I expect their comms to be pretty solid, maybe a little higher paced than something that you guys might be used to. But of course, again, I will do my best to explain all of it and all of that fun stuff. And it looks like, as I talk about it, we are dropping right now. So as soon as we get past the loading screen, I will switch over to the game. And ladies and gentlemen, get excited because we are about to start. And we are connecting to the lobby right now. Again, as soon as this switches over, I will tune in to the game. And I'm so excited. Again, I love casting these guys. They're so much fun to watch. And we are now live, so I'm going to switch over. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Currently watching Brady, a.k.a. 4-Slot Toaster. We'll be switching back and forth between... currently watching Atlee, a.k.a. 4-Slot Toaster. Sorry about that, misspoke. Of course, we will be switching back and forth between him and Brady's point of view. Oh my gosh. Looks like we do have POI marked. I believe a little bit of an unnamed POI. And that's actually something Coach Kyle works on quite a bit with these guys, is finding good POIs that are unnamed. That way they're not contested right away. That way they can loot up, kind of take their time a little bit, and then start to push fights when they are better geared. It looks like we don't have anyone around them. No sightseeing really going on to check the surroundings. Might have a rotation ping going there from Atlee. Doing their best just to keep things going. And now we see a little bit of that awareness from Atlee there as he starts to look around, see if anyone's around him. And looks like they might have this unnamed POI uncontested. Atlee, they're marking something else, maybe another rotation point that could be worth checking out for them. And we do see the glider now on their screen. So for those of you that don't know, Fortnite has an audio-visual tool that we are seeing live, is that little circle around Atlee's character here that is giving audio cues, but visually instead of just audio. So it looks like they're going to abandon that POI a little bit, going to this pool area on the edge of Sweaty Sands here. A little split up at this point, especially with them seeing that team drop Sweaty. They have to be aware of the other duo. Not too far apart, though. They don't need to panic by any means, but definitely something they need to be aware of. As we see Atlee already get to 100 shield. And we assume that Brady is at least 50, and we can confirm that he is at least 50. And now, maybe the fun, maybe the boring part of Fortnite is the absolute farming of mats, as we will see them probably tear apart Sweaty as much as they can without giving themselves away. Potentially hearing some audio there, Atlee trying to take a look around. And as we talked about, we see Brady just completely tearing apart the POI. That poor kitchen will never be the same. And we see them, again, not want to play too aggressive. Getting a note there of remodeling the kitchen. There we go. That's the proper term. But so we see them, again, not playing too aggressive by any means. Kind of settling down, right? Trying to do their best to loot up and farm mats. But again, we talked about that awareness of the other team being at Sweaty and them really making sure that they just don't give themselves away to the other team. Looks like we see boogie bombs there. It'll be very interesting to see if Atlee continues to hold on to those, or if it's something he's just picking up now and we'll see him drop later on for potentially a movement item. One of the great things that I don't think we really highlighted enough, and I know we talked about it a little bit with Coach Kyle, but the awareness of these two is beyond comparison. They're very aware of each other, very aware of the opposition, the enemies in their lobby, very aware of pretty much anything that they can be, doing that to increase their odds to win. You guys don't see it, but we see Brady here checking the map, trying to find out, plan out where he wants to go. Him being that IGL, as we talked about with the interview, really leading Atlee, really being that kind of that foundation, that rock for Atlee. Atlee being a little bit more of the fragger. So we see them leave Sweaty here as they rotate towards Brady's ping. Excuse me. And there we do see the grappler. Both of them just kind of chilling out right now, maybe hear something that we're not totally seeing in the audio visual cue yet. And again, this is a team that has no problem playing very patient, especially with Brady at the head being the IGL, very much more of a patient player than Atlee is. So it does not surprise me that we are seeing just some very patient, waiting, seeing kind of playstyle so far at this drop. It looks like we're going to go towards this house here. I don't totally know if they're in zone yet. And actually, let's switch perspectives real quick. That way we can take a peek at Brady's loadout. So one of the things that we talked about them doing were trying to have very similar loadouts. And making sure that they're aware of each other's loadouts and trying to do their best to almost kind of play the same role. And what I mean by that is, again, we heard Brady talk about it, the awareness of each other and their loadouts and their ammo and their mats and everything that they need to manage in the game is so great with these two that we see right there. Brady finds a legendary shotgun or a yellow shotgun and decides to leave it for Atlee because for the most part, Brady's inventory is better than Atlee's, and Atlee needing that kind of counteractive big hitter shotgun, that big rarity shotgun, being able to counteract the rest of his loadout a little bit. And we see them absolutely tear apart this house, maybe a little bit of an abandoned house or bunker, whatever it is, finding a lot of metal here. Metal being the strongest material in Fortnite. It's very good that they are finding as much as possible here. And we see Brady being at really good map management, probably not where he wants to be himself. We have him almost at full metal, which is 500. So you can only have 500 of each material until you cannot pick up anymore. We have him at about 450. He will probably get to 500 with this POI or very shortly after. We see him really struggling with brick. which is obviously the second strongest. So definitely hoping to see them farm up a little bit more. Obviously, Wood the easiest to find, the weakest. That one we're not too worried about. Definitely hoping he can find more metal and brick here. And looks like they are not in storm, so they do have to rotate a little bit. Looks like they might take a stop at this house, but they might have people here. I see the enemy ping there, so might have some awareness. Looks like we do see people. I don't know if they're going to take shots yet. Playing very patient, knowing that they don't need to push this if they don't feel comfortable. Neither of them having a sniper probably does impact their decision with that a little bit. If we see one of them with a sniper, maybe they take some shots and kind of push that encounter. But again, unfortunately, no sniper, so we can't say anything about it too much. And now they currently are in storm, so they need to get going here. Obviously not too far away, but I'm taking unnecessary damage at this point, and Brady having no heals. Let's take a peek look at at least POI not working for some reason. So we will continue to watch Brady's. I don't know what's going on with at least. But with Brady, as I was saying, Brady with no heals, taking some unnecessary damage there from Storm, maybe playing a little too slow. And we see them both, I mean, Brady at 82 health, Atlee probably at 70. Wow, and a big snipe there on Brady. We see Brady build up here, try to do his best to not panic, maintain this area. He does see the opposition. He knows exactly where they are. Atlee's perspective still having some issues. I don't know if it's a loading issue or something. No pushing yet from either team. It looks like Brady might be trying to get out here. Hope he's going to regroup with his teammate as we see someone push Atlee. Brady trying to find a shot on him. Doesn't find it. Doing their best to maintain their ground. Brady building quite a lot. Unfortunately, we cannot look at Atlee's perspective. It looks like he's in the fight. Brady being a little away at this point. Atlee does get knocked. And Brady just going to get out. Hearing the comm from his teammate in person. Just to leave there. I expect here kind of the rotate away and then the go back to get the card if possible. As we see Brady here kind of do his best to stall, loot up a little bit, and try to find some heals. Not the position that Brady wants to be in. Obviously without his teammate being down, in 2v1 scenarios is never great. Looks like Atlee's perspective might be back up. No, still currently black screen. I'm not totally sure what's going on with his input. As we try to troubleshoot that, we will continue to watch Brady's, who really is the person alive, so the more important input at this moment. But
well, don't stay in there too long, because if they're fighting outside, they're going to have to rotate to Brady, and they'll...
Okay, that was very strange. I apologize for that. Brady being caught here in storm, having to waste a med kit when it's probably not necessary. Luckily not too far away. Is able to just kind of run and use the grappler there to get himself back in the main area. Does find someone to his left. Has to be careful. Going to use his grappler as much as he can here to get away. Brady's still trying to do his best to get as far away as possible. Completely leaving Atlee's card now. Gonna play the rest of this game as a solo. Obviously never a spot you really want to be in. But at this point, Brady doesn't have an option. He's just going to have to play that way. So now we expect even more of a patient, slower game than we were seeing before. Brady really needing to be very picky and selective about people he's encountering and where he's at and what fights he's seeing and taking and all that stuff. Right now, kind of holding in the middle of zone, not needing to panic too much. So he's got a little tower built for himself, being able to look both directions, kind of every direction here as much as he needs to. Allie's perspective still not working for some reason. And just got an update there that unfortunately both the secondary and third teams are currently eliminated. So as soon as this goes, we'll currently transition into our post first drop, pre second drop interviews. Brady doing a very good job here, trying to stay as calm as he can. And we do hear some calming going on. I know you guys can't hear it, but obviously me being in the arena, I can hear it. Allie doing a very good job at kind of being that secondary ear in Brady's head, being that second set of eyes and all that from his perspective, really letting him know as much information as he can without needing to freak out too much. And we are actually going to undeafen here a little bit and see what they're talking about.
But they're not going to, right? At this stage in the game, Atlee,
They're
we're...
just facing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just boxing.
14 teams left, so there's some solos.
Including us.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, that's easy. You could try to go over here. You see my mark? You can try to go over there. That hill.
Isn't it, with respect, isn't that the direction the other team rotated to? No, it's not. Never mind. They're over there.
Okay.
Coach is selling.
Yeah, they're looking at me. I saw them edit that.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, that wall flashed red.
Your best bet might be to rotate out behind, like this
Yeah.
way.
I think
And
I might have to
some
do that
outline.
like right now.
Because they're gonna beam you if you try to rotate out the other way.
Yeah. Yep, correct.
House to your left might be...
Yeah, house to your left is definitely the right call.
There might be people in it. I'm not sure, but you could go in there and take cover.
Yeah, they're peeking right now. I see the floor edit.
Okay.
I would just go zone. You have good mats. You have good mats.
Do me a favor, Brady, when you're rotating like that, can you hug the mountain? Because if there are people in that house and they decide that they want to take shots at you, you need to use the natural cover while you're moving.
Yeah. I need wood.
You can cone peek here as well to look,
Yeah.
scout out.
If I can place a cone, where's my cone? Where's my cone?
You can break the... I would
X,
break
right?
the... You might
Yeah.
be able to
There you go.
break the tree next to you for more mats.
Yeah, that's also a good call.
Nice.
So something that we have to highlight that, again, we talked about a little bit earlier, is we see much calmer comms, from this team, right? Being very aware, not needing to freak out, not needing to panic. Even though he's down a man, Brady seeming like he has ice in the veins, not needing to put any unnecessary pressure on himself. Allie doing the exact same thing. Allie doing a very good job at telling Brady what he's seeing, where he thinks he needs to go. And we see Allie again, they're marking a couple times, kind of laying out the route of rotation that he believes is the best. And we see Brady follow it. Again, one thing that we talked about a little bit is the trust in these guys, the trust they have for each other. That it's unmatched. It's kind of second to none, especially here in the facility. so much trust as Brady kind of finds some last-second loot here, potentially trying to find some mats and find some heals or shield to get him up to 200. Storm moving in 2 seconds now. Brady, if wants to take this long route, is going to have to start going now. That Storm is going to push him very quick, and without having 0 green heals, needs to be aware of it now. He does find the grappler there, though, and there's a medkit to his left. He does decide to leave it, and he's going to use his grappler to get himself in a much better position. Looks like we do see some combat, some shots fired up in front of him. Going to try and loop around to the right a little bit more, avoiding that combat. Still trying to do his best to get in the zone. Trying to get up to Brady's ping, or to Atlee's ping, excuse me. Does decide to take the house here. And gonna use it as a little bit of natural cover, a little bit of a point of high ground building, so not having to waste so many mats. Very interesting kind of edit and build strategy we see here from Brady, building a very specific ramp, not a staircase, using that cone manipulation to give him as much sight as possible, also giving Atlee as much sight as possible, currently spectating from his POV. Really that awareness that we don't see from a lot of the other teams, what we see from them. And again, this is what we expect from them, especially them being in that higher division. We do see the team rotate right in front of him, not quite in front of him. And it looks like they're going to build up a little bit right there with that brick structure off to Brady's right a little bit as they continue to move up. Not even checking Brady's build, maybe getting a little fortunate there, a little lucky. Brady doing his best just to play for placement here, but needing to go, and he needs to go now. That Storm is going to be on his back. He does have the grappler, but there it is. Taking 1 tick of damage, though we see it being 5, I believe, which is a lot of unnecessary health, unnecessary damage that Brady took, especially when he doesn't have green heals. Pushing right into 2 teams fighting, kind of being his only option, his only method to get into zone here as he decides to build up. Again, we see him really not taking any of these fights. He doesn't need to at this point. Him being a solo, he knows he's at a disadvantage, trying his best just to get these survival points for his team. And we are going to see the cone peak again, trying his best to get information and intel on that fight currently going on directly in front of him. Doesn't need to do anything too aggressive here. He does kind of have the path to zone. Does need to go straight through this team, though. Might swim through the water and go underneath. Will be very interesting to hear. Looks like the other team potentially seeing his builds now, maybe taking some shots. Deciding not to engage, though. Brady second-guessing himself on that kill, on those shots fired. Looks like that team's going to run towards the action. Brady here kind of getting left unnoticed. Probably the way he wants to go. 12 people being left alive, 11 not counting him. Brady going to try and find some shots here. Does find a couple. Has someone sliding down right in front of him, though. He's trying to find a couple more. And we're going to undeafen again and see what they're talking about.
Nice. Nice.
Yep.
I like the play.
Yep. Just be aware there's the sky-based people.
Up on you, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Oh.
Doesn't matter. Brady's better. Brady's built different.
I know. He is, bro.
Yep.
You all got 12 teams left. Still player count. Still.
Yep.
You have 6 grapples, which is pretty decent.
Yeah. Let them key each other too. 'Cause what they're gonna do for right now, Brady.
You can hold height if you want.
Yep, that's exactly what you should do.
I would cone below you as well, so they can't chop you out.
Yep, 100%. And then just sit tight, sit tight,
Yeah.
sit tight.
You can rotate back. Is it pulling back? Yeah.
No, it's
maybe.
pulling to the
It
right
is.
here.
Oh, it's pulling to the right.
Oh, there's
I
a porta
just heard
fortress.
somebody pull out a minigun. Might be.
Well, here's the thing, guys. Just when we're at this stage, Brady, the one thing you need to know is that they're going to be a lot of times. Yep, it's the minigun. Yeah,
I knocked him
You
too.
traded. Dang.
rough.
So we see there a little bit of an unlucky situation there for Brady. We see him get pushed by the minigun, putting himself obviously in a not great scenario, him being in that 2v1 with the minigun, absolutely being able to shred builds. And very quickly, as we will now get Atlee in here for the post-game interview. Atlee, talk to me a little bit about that drop and what was going through your mind.
So basically, the first fight we got into where I got knocked out, it was kind of the way they played it. It kind of separated us as a team, and it was kind of hard to get together. So that's how I got taken out. They were both on my wall, and I almost killed one, but then I got taken out by it. And Brady had to play solo. I feel like he played it very well, and I don't think he could have really done anything else differently there to do any better. I mean, it was a 2v1 there at the end.
So talk to me a little bit more about what you're doing the best in your ability when you're dead to kind of help Brady out.
I'm just trying to calm whatever I see, like tell him if there's people, like mat counts, try to help him on rotations, and tell him how much grapples he has left in his grappler and stuff like that.
And we saw there, especially towards the end, we listened into your guys' comms there a little bit. You guys having much calmer comms than other teams, even in high pressure or panic situations. What does it mean for you guys to be able to keep calm and maintain that level with each other?
I feel that means a lot, because if you're stressing, you're not gonna get anywhere. You're gonna get taken out, but you just gotta play it calm and slow and do your best.
And finally here, obviously, of course, better placement, maybe more kills. But what are you guys hoping to improve on coming into this new drop based off of what happened on the last drop?
I think we need to stay together a little more. I mean, there was really nothing we could do in that fight. It was kind of hard to we got separated there, but I think we play a little more together. I mean, we got an awful off spawn there, but if we can just secure our drop, I feel like we'll do a little bit better.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Atlee, for your time up here, and hoping for a better performance in the second drop.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right, talking to now the IGL, the leader, Brady. Talk to me a little bit about what was going through your mind on that drop.
So when we were rotating in towards Salty, we got pushed from two teams, one from north, one from south, and like I said earlier, we did get pushed from Ice Isle. So the Mythic Scar is really insane. I think it does 200 a second. And then after that, I kind of just played safe and got as far away as I could. And then in that late game, I kept getting shot at, but I was grappling away from everything. I had to just keep playing like a rat. So I only got one kill throughout that, but I still got 8th place at the end, which ended up being good.
So being in that IGL role and having Atlee be dead at that point, what is going through your mind, really? I mean, obviously, I know, right, probably secure as many placements points as possible, but specifically, what is going through your mind as you are deciding what fights to engage or not engage, or deciding where to rotate?
So there, I didn't have really good loot at all, so I wasn't really wanting to engage in any fights because it would be a lot less of an advantage for me. But if it was a 1v1, I probably would have engaged that, but there wasn't any fights that I really engaged. I just got a long-range kill. So I didn't really do money fights.
Yeah. So, and we saw there, so listening into your guys' comms a little bit, we saw Atlee doing a very good job at kind of directing traffic, right?
Yeah.
Kind of being an extra set of eyes and ears for you. How much does it mean to you as the IGL, knowing that even when Atlee is dead, you're able to trust him and kind of help, again, be that extra set of eyes and ears for you?
It's really good that he knows how to like use comms. He kept telling me when zone was gonna move and where to go. He gave me really good comms on way to rotate after zone closed because I kept getting full max pool. So I think it was 3 zones in a row. It kept moving completely away from us.
Yes.
And then he came up with the best plan to move.
Perfect. Well, and finally here we will talk about what are you guys hoping to improve? Obviously, better placement, more kills, all that fun stuff. But what are you guys actually hoping to like fundamentally and mechanically improve from last drop going into the new drop tonight?
So if we get contested this time, like last game, we're gonna play a little bit closer together and move further away quicker. Because we died because they split us up mid-fight, and then Ali got knocked from both of them pushing. So we just need to stay closer together.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Brady. I'll let you go talk to your teammate and kind of lock back in and warm back up for the second drop. And good luck again. We will be watching. Of course. All right. As we heard there live, hoping to do much better this drop. And you guys, give me 1 second. I'm actually going to step away real quick to see if we can't fix the point of view on Atlee's screen. So again, give me 1 second. We will be back very shortly. Okay, everybody, sorry about that. And as we kind of fixed the perspective issue, we are now back with Atlee's perspective. So we will be watching his, of course, to start again. So as we heard there, both of them hoping to do better from this drop. Really, the one key thing that both of them talked about, and we're going to talk about the awareness and the trust they have for each other, kind of leading into this point, but the distance, right? The gap between them as individual players, right? We saw them not all of the time, but a little bit kind of playing farther away. And this is something that even in other matches, whether it be recordings or other streams, that we've seen, I don't want to say struggle with, but we've seen Atlee and Brady kind of play away from each other. They're not afraid to have some distance between themselves. But the bad part about that is exactly like we saw, right? So we see one team, we see one of them get pushed kind of early. And then we see the death come through. And then from that, using that last drop as an example, we see Brady completely having to get out just because Atlee 2v1 pushed, gets eliminated, and now Brady just doing his best to play for those placement points. Obviously is never a position that you want to be in. But leading into that trust and that respect for each other, we see both of them being so aware that that is the issue, that is the reason that they got that they died and they got into the situation that they did. And knowing that that is something that is so simple and easy to fix, that as long as they are more aware of that distance and gap in between each other, they will continue to close that and play much better with each other. Excuse me. As we start to load up into drop number 2, again, I believe I said it during the match, but I don't totally remember. Unfortunately, the secondary and third or tertiary team. both being eliminated by the time that Brady and Atlee got eliminated. So a little unfortunate that we did not get to watch either of them. Obviously, unfortunate for them and their drops and obviously their points and everything. But I believe Division 2 is a little ahead of Division 1 at this point. Division 1 was having some delays, and obviously that's why it took a little bit longer to get in. I believe Division 2 is dropping right now. So, again, just kind of one of those unfortunate circumstances that we kind of have to deal with and roll with the punches with as VHEL figures out their issues and all that stuff. And as I say it, of course, I believe Division 1 is dropping right now. Hopefully, we see a little bit more of an exciting, a little bit more of a hype game that I can kind of get in for you guys a little bit and talk about those exciting, cool, crazy features that obviously not super entertainment based. I'm much more of a play-by-play caster myself, but being able to talk about those exciting plays and being able to get a little bit of hype up here, it means a lot to me as the caster. So we see Brady and Atlee going to the same spot before, trusting this time, especially based off of the flight plan of the bus, that they will be able to get here. We see their rotation pings coming out, them talking about seeing some stuff mid-game. I'm so sorry, guys. All right, now, I'm sorry. I forgot to switch. That's completely on me. Now we see them get ready here to go. And as we are dropping, currently watching Atlee, a.k.a. 4-Slot Toaster. Brady, a.k.a. BL Mace, is his teammate. Let's do better this drop, boys. Let's lock in. They got this. Atlee kind of pinging the place of rotation. Just some points to highlight that other teams could potentially be going. Highlighting Sweaty right now, trying their best to keep an eye on it, seeing if another team goes there. If no other team goes there, they might actually try to take Sweaty. Looks like a team is growing to their unnamed POI, so they're going to have to kind of switch it up here. And looks like they might take Sweaty. And if they can fully claim Sweaty, which looks like they are, we see them at two different corners here. We're probably going to see them push in towards the middle together. They're going to get a lot of loot. Obviously, the named locations, the named POIs having much more loot than the unnamed ones. Hopefully being able to get lucky, find some better loot this round, putting themselves in a better situation. And obviously a lot more stuff for them to tear apart. We see the flare gun pick up. Probably going to be carrying that at least for a little while. Such a good use of information and intel. Being able to fire that to ping enemies is great. And we see actually that Atlee decides to close this gap early. Wants to be with his teammate as soon as possible. Going to go into the tower here. Are going to loot up as a unit. We see very similar loadouts as of now, and as we continue to loot up, of course, we will continuously see very similar loadouts. Atlee, they're missing a big. We expect now that both of them are going to be at 200. And for those of you that don't know what I mean by 200, I mean 100 health, green health, and 100 shield. And now having a lot of shield, Atlee trusting that he will find more minis, decides to wait, not drink those bigs. Currently leaving behind 2 minis for a medkit, but having 2 big shield, having 100 shield on standby if he needs to find it. Which is great game sense and awareness there from Atlee. Doing their best to find loot. I'm surprised we haven't seen more material farming, at least from Atlee yet. Something that he does have a little bit, but not quite enough. Definitely going to have to be aware of as we start to progress here a little bit from the early game into the middle game. Good thing for them is this place being a much bigger POI, having a lot of materials, being able to get a lot of metal, wood, and brick, not really needing to panic about their material management. As we now start to see Atlee completely tear apart this dance club. Which is a shame. Obviously, we would love to see him do an emote, you know, style on someone. Continuing to find some brick here. Let's switch to Brady's POI. Let's take a look at his loadout. Or not POI, POV. We see Brady with the legendary shotgun. Something we saw Atlee had last time. Getting eliminated first, though. Probably not being able to use it as much as we would have liked to. Also, we see the... oh, gosh, what's it called? The hunter, the huntsman rifle, the hunter rifle. Oh, I forget what the specific weapon is called. That weapon in Brady's third slot is a sniper with no scope. A very good gun if you have the aim to use it. Wouldn't surprise me if we see a switch here. That being the main difference we see in their inventories and the loadouts from last game is this time having that sniper, being able to kind of shoot at the longer ranged opponents that they see rotate and potentially take one of the longer ranged encounters, potentially push and catch people off guard, especially if Brady can hit some of these crazy snipes. Brady, obviously a fan of remodeling as he picks apart this kitchen, trying to find as much brick as he can. Gonna remodel this whole house. Sorry for the background noise. We have some destruction going on in the arena. This poor house, whoever lives here, man, I feel bad for him because Brady is just tearing it apart, leaving very little furniture. What a remodel. Trying to find as many mats as he can. Currently being on 500 wood, trying to get as much metal and brick as he can. We will expect to see him probably get to max of both, at least of metal. We do see a blue pump. I believe Atlee needs that. Brady gonna mark it for him. Let's see if Atlee starts to head that way to pick it up. Storm is starting to creep towards them. They need to be aware of this. Don't need to take any unnecessary damage here. Switch back to Brady. Or, oh my gosh, to Atlee. I'm so sorry. Atlee here already having the blue shotgun, not needing it. So we don't see either of them having any movement, but we do still see the flare gun in Atlee's inventory, being able to use it for a lot of intel. And we also see the launch pad, aka the meme pad, a very good kind of single-use rotational item that they can use if they're ever in a panic and need to get out very quickly, being able to put that down and just kind of fully reset and rotate. We see something that I forgot to mention is that we see Atlee having 500 of each, leaving all of them as he needs for Brady. We see there a ping, potentially an enemy mark. Looks like we might see some people. We're actually going to switch back to Brady and see if he's going to use that sniper at all. Hunting rifle. I was so close. I said hunter's rifle. Oh, that hurts. My Fortnite knowledge showing a little bit there. Now also being at 500 of each material. As they rotate into Salty here. Potentially could hold Salty. Circle not helping them out, though. They still have a while to go. Not having a movement or rotational item other than the launch pad. Definitely going to have to be aware of where that storm is going and if they're taking unnecessary damage. Well, I believe they have some people spotted. They might take this fight. We're going to see Brady take some shots. Doesn't find anybody. We're going to switch to Atlee here. Actually deciding to reposition as he got pinged a little bit. We're going to go back to Brady. Wow, that would have been insane if Brady would have hit that with the hunting rifle. Looks like he's going to try again. Misses it again. Unfortunate. Has to be aware now of the team that is split up. They could potentially push one of these solos. It looks like they're going to launch pad out. Don't want to take this encounter. Are getting shot at a little bit, but we see there the marking of the car, and they're going to fully get out here and rotate away. Honestly, a little surprising to see that from them. This is a team that is not afraid to take encounters, maybe not wanting to die quite yet, wanting to play a little bit more patiently, a little bit more for those placement points, especially based off their last drop, trying to creep into that later game and fight when they need to. Looks like they're going to get up on this hill here, kind of take a perch, using a very good spot for holding of intel. We are seeing some towering going on here. No real shocker as we see this crazy manipulation of the build here. Brady holding a very intel-based spot here. Atlee holding a much more engagement-based spot. Also, we have to mention Atlee still having that flare gun, still being able to use it at any time if they feel like they really need intel. Gonna protect their car a little bit, as obviously they would love to keep that. Atlee doing his best here to protect that car, making sure that no one can come in and destroy it, that if they need to get out and rotate, they are fully capable of doing that. Looks like we're going to take some shots here into the bush. I don't know if they saw anyone or if they're just trying to clear it. We see some people dropping in, potentially from the rift. Brady there taking a couple of shots at him with the hunting rifle. Don't know if he found any. Actually, I think he did just find one. That's insane as they continue to try to take some shots. Unfortunately, I don't think finding any more. Wow, what a shot there from Brady if he actually hit that. Unfortunately, watching Atlee's POI, not seeing the damage numbers, but I am fairly certain that we did hit that. Doing a good job here at trying to keep all areas around them noticed and accounted for. So they are still in storm. Or circle, I guess I should say. They do not have to move, at least not yet. We see Atlee there mark some ammo for his teammate. Oh, we do see some loot drop there. Potentially good use of the flare gun here. We're not going to see it. We're going to switch it to Brady just to see if he can hit any crazy shots with that hunting rifle. Waiting for the exact right time. I believe, and there we finally see the use of the flare gun. Brady trying to find one with a hunting rifle, doesn't find it. Reloading it, seeing if he can find one now. Oh, so close to hitting that shot. Trying to find another. Unfortunately, missing. Atlee laying suppressing fire on them. Brady hitting one with the hunting rifle. That's a really big hit, especially as they start to separate. We could see a push here. Doesn't look like they're going to do it quite yet. Continue to play patient. Oh, Atlee actually cracking one of them. That's big for them. They could potentially get a knock here. Brady trying to find shots with the hunting rifle. Unfortunately missing. Atlee keeping suppressing fire. Keeping that team in panic. Wow. And so the storm circle, a little lucky but a little unfortunate. Them having to move on the unfortunate part. Luckily, they don't have to move very far. We see Brady take another shot with the hunting rifle and another, unfortunately missing both. We expect to see them maybe push onto this little or smaller hill / mountain in front of them. You see Brady continuously taking shots with that hunting rifle. Looks like Brady marking where he wants to go. Using that mountain in front of them as natural coverage. And looks like we are going to see as they destroy the last bit of their builds and get out. Brady kind of leaving Atlee behind there. Atlee being able to slide back down and get into it. Let's go back to Atlee's point of view. They're actually pushing into this team that they've hurt quite a bit. Atlee going to see if he can find any shots. No one in the bush. Trying to take a full rotate here. Currently driving into the water. You can see Atlee take a look at the map. Brady is currently driving. And holding a very middle of circle spot here. Thing to be aware, there is some shots coming from behind them. We don't see anyone quite yet. We are going to see a shot of the flare gun come out, marking any enemies nearby, and it doesn't find anyone, so they're actually going to be able to build up here a little bit and hold this spot. And unluckily for them, having to move right away. And we see yet again, we see the protection of the car come out. Just something you just really love to see from them. Them knowing that they don't have that rotational and movement item, so doing their best to protect the one that they do have, that being the car. We see them playing much closer, much more aware of each other this time. Currently holding the edge of Lazy Lake. Oh, I think I might be getting a guest interviewer. And looks like we're going to see Atlee and Brady edit here, get back in the car, and drive away as they start to push back into circle. Okay, and we see them again holding a mountain here, not being afraid to kind of tower up and take a very patient play on this game. Having 17 people being left alive, 2 of them being them, so 15 opponents. And currently having a guest caster / interviewer. If you want to introduce yourself and tell us which student is yours, that would be very great.
Is my son.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming up here and kind of being forced to guest star in the stream.
Voluntold, I
Yep,
think.
yep. It happens to me too. So
It's all right. I'm here for it.
so talk to me a little bit about the experience that you've had more so with Brady being a student here at Valhalla.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the greatest thing that has ever happened for me as a mom, a gamer mom who doesn't know anything about gaming, and really for a kid who isn't your normal, quote, athlete. This is totally what was missing in his life, is being around guys in a crew that gets what he does and the exposure and the little bit of leadership opportunities. Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about that. I know nothing about Fortnite, but I know.
That's all right. That's all right. Unfortunately, they got eliminated right there as
Oh, man.
started the interview, so you're not missing too much. But
I've learned IGL and I've learned drops.
Okay.
Those are the that's the lingo I know.
So I guess maybe the true hard hitting question here: how much does Brady teach you when he goes home?
He doesn't want to talk about it, right?
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. So, what have you seen aside from the growth in game? What have you seen social wise and all those soft skills that obviously we here at Valhalla harp about, but you've seen Brady grow into himself?
Yeah, I think what's been really neat is the exposure to stuff like this and putting him in that sort of place where he has to think and, lead his peers and be exposed to adults and, like you guys and how you have to communicate with coaches and adults. So I just think that kind of exposure is really good for kids who are your gamer kids. We didn't have that kind of thing before this.
And you talked about it a little bit, but we heard there, obviously, probably most of the students here not being the quote-unquote traditional athletes. What does it mean to you as a parent and to Brady to be able to have this place that it is not traditional athletics, to be able to come in and compete at the highest level and show your skills?
Yeah, I mean, I was a band kid in high school, and so I took marching band very seriously, and that was my competing, and that was my sport. And so for a parent who is raising a kid who isn't finding that at their school, having a world like this for him to get some confidence, to get exposure to teammates, to other peers doing things and seeing adults, I think, that are growing up and are successful grown men having a life, but they also were gamer kids. I think that's, something I couldn't even dreamt that this was a thing.
And finally here, kind of closing it out, obviously I'm pretty sure Brady being here very early on, us being open for almost a year now, which is kind of crazy to think about. What are you guys continuously expecting out of not only Valhalla as a company, but Andrew as the franchise owner and all of the coaches and just kind of overall that expectation level that you guys have?
Yeah, I think Brady's a freshman in high school now, and knowing that this is going to help shape him and his potential, his future, where he's going to go for college or what he's going to do after high school. I think having you guys help me even see what that can look like is going to be helpful. I couldn't put into words or even know what to Google, when it came to an esports kid.
I get you.
Yeah, so you guys are helping me learn what is possible to help shape his vision of what's possible too.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I don't want to keep you up here too long, so thank you so much for your time up here and again, kind of getting voluntold to do it.
Yeah, I'll learn my Fortnite lingo.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right.
Thanks.
Yep, thank you. All right, as we transition back here, transitioning into Team 2, a.k.a. the Big Mac Munchers, a.k.a. Chef Jack and Miko, as we are currently watching Miko's perspective, a.k.a. Cookie, still being alive in a 1v2 scenario now, towards the end of the game, needing to be aware of his opponents. A lot of gunfire going on around him, playing a very patient game. We see him in a very similar situation that we saw Brady in the end of Drop 1, which hopefully we will get to talk to them. I don't know if we're going to. But We see Storm come in. Miko needs to make a move here, and it needs to be now. I don't know if he's going to have the health for it. Going to potentially get some shots on. Might find the kill on his way out. Does find it, but does get eliminated due to the storm there. Really great scenario for him to kind of take one with him. Obviously not the position that he wanted to be in, but really great awareness again to be able to take that final one and help his teammate getting as many of those points as possible. Now, I believe we are going to get some interviews, if still possible. See if Atlee is able to come up here for an interview. And as we currently wait for Atlee, yep, here he comes. All right, the man, Atlee, back up here. Atlee, talk to me a little bit about that second drop.
Second drop was going well until we got into. Second drop was going well until we got into endgame, and then we went for that hill to get height, and then that other team like randomly contested us for it, and it was kind of surprising. So that we panicked a little bit, which didn't help much, but yeah, that drop was pretty good. 10th place isn't bad.
Yeah, so we saw you guys playing much more together that drop, and obviously that after drop one being something that you guys wanted to work on and really focus on. How did it feel that you guys are able to be aware of those issues and instantly adapt to them?
It feels good to do that because it helps us out a lot to be able to adapt fast, like within a game, and it helps our play style and stuff.
Obviously, you guys doing much better collectively as a unit that drop. Obviously, you being alive for a little bit longer. And we saw there much more patient play than we typically expect from you guys. Is that something that you guys are trying out, something that Brady is kind of leading, something that you guys are noticing with the season, that it's a little bit of a slower game? Talk to me a little bit about that approach.
Yeah, I think the season definitely like makes us having a slower approach to the game, but otherwise, we're just trying out some new things and just seeing what works.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally here, Atlee, based off of both drops tonight, what are you guys looking forward to improving to continue as we are, I believe, approached the last week or the second to last week until playoffs?
I think kills is mainly our thing. Our placement's not bad, but I feel like we could definitely work on getting more kills.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time up here. And obviously, it was great to watch you, and we'll continue to hope and wish you guys the best of luck as you continue in the season.
Thank you.
All right. Looks like I'm going to have maybe a little bit of an unexpected interview as we got to see very little of his drop. But Chef Jack currently being up here with me. Jack, talk to me a little bit about both of your drops and how you think they went.
So our first drop, we kind of got pushed off our drop spot, and it really didn't go as planned. We had to land somewhere different. We didn't get good enough loot. And then we got stuck in a bad position where we were held in storm. We got out of that, but then we got held in storm by a different team. And then we ended up dying to that. Mm-hmm. But in our second drop, we did well. We got 8th. And we basically played more aggressive. We got our drop. Then we got 6 kills. So, we played as a team together.
Yep.
And then we got held. After we finished up a fight, we got shot at from down below, from up above.
Okay.
So I died, but as I took down someone as well. So it left to Sean to stay in the end. Mm-hmm. And he survived us up till end game.
So talking about that second drop a little bit, what are you doing after you're dead to make sure that Miko or Sean is as aware and playing the best that he can in that uncomfortable situation?
I think we should just try carrying a bit of movement items. One of us carry shields and the other carries white heals. Mm-hmm. And then we just get out whenever we need to and we just fight when we need to.
Perfect. And so I think we have to talk about the storyline a little bit. I talked about it a little bit with Coach Kyle. I believe you guys are the most winning team that on stream or on recording. Going into next week, knowing that you guys will be the feature stream, does that put any additional pressure on you guys?
Not really. I don't really get put under pressure a lot. If it's public speaking, but it's really good.
Okay. Well, and finally here we'll close it out with, what are you guys looking to improve on from the two drops tonight that you guys can work on as we get into the last couple drops of the regular season and move into playoffs?
Definitely playing together and trying to get better loot off spawn and more white heals.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time up here. We appreciate it, and we wish you the best of luck as we'll watch you guys next week and be in the primary.
All right. Thanks.
Yep, thank you. All right, we having his teammate, very solid, very comfortable, Sean, a.k.a. Miko, a.k.a. Cookie. So, Miko, explain to me a little bit what was going on at the end of that second drop when you were in that, I guess essentially a 1v1, but in that 1v2 scenario when Chef Jack was already dead.
I was slightly stressing, which is definitely something I want to work on. And
a little stumped. Hey, that's okay. Stuff like that happens. So we talked. You mentioned stress there. So what's going through your mind in those scenarios, and is Jack doing anything in those moments to kind of help you, to kind of keep you calm, or to keep your game sense and awareness up?
he coached me like pretty well since he was IGL.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other question?
Is he saying anything to help you, like, keep that just your mental state up instead of just in the game?
He didn't really say much. He just said to not stress. So.
Okay. So I asked the same question to Jack. I'm going to ask it to you two, talking about the storyline a little bit. You guys, I believe, being the most winning team on stream or on recording, and you guys moving to primary next week, is that going to put any additional pressure on you guys for your drops?
I wouldn't really say so, because I just don't think about me being, I guess, like, streamed.
Mm-hmm.
I mostly just think about, like, the game.
Perfect.
Because I think of it as, like, a regular ranked
Mm-hmm.
game. But, like, I guess as in a tournament, because it is.
Yeah.
So.
And finally here, catching the very end of your second drop, what did you guys do that you guys are hoping to improve on as we continue to creep forward towards the end of the regular season and into playoffs?
Stuff to improve on?
Yes.
Like, aim,
Okay.
probably. Because it kind of depends on the day, I guess.
Mhm.
Aim is either really good or, like, okay.
Okay, so maybe just some consistency. And obviously, again, we talked about the not panicking, that being something you need to work on as well. Well, thank you so much, Mikhail, for your time up here and being able to step up and get interviewed. And wish you guys the best of luck as we will feature you guys as the primary next week. Thank you very much. All right, and now, but most certainly not least, whatever. Having my good friend, Coach Kyle, coming back up to the booth as, man, I love talking to this guy. He's so exciting. He's one of my favorite guys to talk to as he makes his way up, and he knows that I'm talking about him.
I do.
Cue his entry music as he puts the headset on. Coach Kyle.
Dun, dun, dun. I don't know what my entry music's going to be. I'm excited. I feel like I need one now. What's up, Coach Christian? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you feeling after this drops, Coach Kyle?
It was a chaotic drop. I'm just going to be completely and totally honest. It's really funny. When we had the new season happen, I actually had a whole strategy debrief for the team. And one of the things that I mentioned was it's a new map. And when there's a new map for at least a couple of weeks, you're going to see players playing in some incredibly weird ways, and the drops are going to feel chaotic way more than you're used to until players have, play patterns established, until teams start to gel.
Yep.
So all of those things sort of combined. These two drops were chaotic, I think is the best way to describe them. And I'll be honest, I'm really proud of the boys. Chaos notwithstanding, they did a really great job of making some really strong matches out of those drops. So
Yeah, so I only mostly getting to watch Ali and Brady. I want to really talk about them We saw a little bit of an unfortunate circumstance. The separation happened in drop 1. Brady doing a very good job at being able to climb back into that drop and play placement. What are you, and we heard a little bit in comms, but what are you as the coach kind of telling them and keeping them calm, or keeping him calm in that scenario?
I'll be honest, it's really interesting. And one of the things that I love about getting to work with Brady is Brady doesn't need me to keep him calm. Brady is calm as long as he's presented with the options. And so one of the things you may notice if you go back through and look at the comms is that Atlee and I are constantly communicating with Brady. You'll hear Atlee, and I love him because one of the cool things about coaching Atlee is he'll copy things that you do if he thinks it's a good idea. So I would say if I can suggest an idea, and then later on during the match, I don't know if you heard Atlee go, if I can suggest an idea. So it's really cool because it's not saying, hey, do this, do that, you need to go here. It's saying, hey, Brady, we have options. And again, that's kind of what we were talking about at the pregame interview earlier tonight, is this idea that even when you get eliminated, you're still playing a key role in the game and feeding your partner information and kind of helping them keep their head on a swivel. And Atlee did that really well. But I'll be honest, man, Brady's not a team member I need to keep calm. I don't know what he said up here during his interviews. If he was like, I was a nervous wreck. I don't know if he said that or not. Yeah. But he stays calm when he is presented with the options, because when he's there, he's so locked in. He's not thinking about what if I screw this up? What if I lose? What if I make a mistake? The only thing he's thinking about is what's my next play. And that's what makes him a phenomenal team member to coach. So
something that actually both of them talked about is wanting to get more kills. And we saw very patient play from both of the drops tonight. Do you think that is just some figuring out the new season? Is that some uncomfortability? What's going on?
I think it's a mix of things. So one of the things is that we constantly encourage our teams to play for placement. Right? Like that's really what determines the strength of a league score, at least for Fortnite. Right? It's not how many kills you get; it's the placement points. Right? It's very, very much unlike climbing the ranked ladder. If our viewers are familiar with climbing Fortnite ranked, right, where 1 or 2 kills, even if you have like a 50th place placement, depending on what rank you're in, can really help push your percentage up, right? So that's part of it, right, is that they know that they are playing for placement. They know that that is an essential part of their tournament scoring thing. The other thing, too, was part of that strategy debrief that we said. I told them, I was like, guys, this is going to be a really chaotic season until people start to gel, until people start to get an idea of what they're looking for. And so the best way to do that is to play together and play cohesively, but also to play defensively. One of the things that you'll notice, though, if you watch Brady and Atlee's gameplay, is it's defensive and not passive, which is one of the things that we talked about during our team debrief tonight. Was I'm like, guys, I'm fine if you take a defensive position, but you need to be constantly looking for opportunities to either make an engagement or to rotate, and they constantly were. Now, again, this is something I love about Atlee and Brady. As their confidence has grown, they're both like, coach, I want to frag out. Let me go. Let me get him. And it's awesome. But what I love about coaching the two of them is, despite their desire to do that, and again, I have no doubt they both came up here and they're like, oh no kills. I wanted 12, right? I have no doubt that they did that, but I like that they're able to sort of temper that expectation to what they know they need to do to be successful in the long run. So,
and we've seen, to kind of close this off here, we've seen very good awareness, very good trust, and all of that kind of core stuff from them. So what are you hoping to continue to work on with them that will kind of propel them into playoffs?
I think the one thing, and it's not just with Brady and Atlee, that I'm looking at right now is, again, going back to what we talked about, that preseason strategy and the team debrief tonight, right? I am what you would call like a macro strategist. I'm the one who loves the big picture plans. So for me as a coach, I'm looking at how chaotic this last set of drops was, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I foresaw this starting to even out by now. So that makes me as a coach go, do we need to play and do we need to practice like it's going to be this chaotic every drop this season? And again, I don't know if it's just a consequence of a new season. Maybe this map has been designed to lead to conflict more frequently. Something that astute viewers may have noticed is there's a lot of lack of natural cover in this map as opposed to previous ones in other seasons. There's a lot less forests, a lot less mountains. We've lost that sort of big structures, those big superstructures that we had across the last couple of seasons, which means if you have that, the chances of you getting absolutely beamed out of nowhere or of another team deciding to push into you with a vehicle or a crash pad, some form of rotation, that becomes much more likely. So I'm starting to think as a coach, it's not just for Brady and Atlee. Do we need to start practicing like we should expect to get into fights every single second of every single game of every single drop this season?
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you so much for your time up here. We appreciate it.
Always, Coach
always.
Christian. Much appreciated, my friend.
And that is going to do it for us here at Valhalla and Camp Hill. Obviously, tune back in tomorrow where we will be live streaming Overwatch. And actually, for once, you guys will not have me up in front of the camera. You will have our good guest, Coach Kyle. Obviously, he's not here anymore, but he will be up in front of the camera with his girlfriend, who's a very seasoned and veteran in the Overwatch community. So very, very excited to see how they do. And then, of course, as we get towards Wednesday and Thursday, of course, probably either Apex or Rocket League Wednesday and Thursday with more Valorant. So thank you so much from everybody here at Valhalla and Camp Hill. And that is going to do it for tonight. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.